Is live and on the internet. Welcome to the weekday. Hopefully we have audio this time. By the way, I'm Andy.
Oh, hello, I'm Mike.
The things just popped up underneath us. It's right there. Right there. That was great. Thank you, Michael Racina, for taking care of us. We are live on the internet. We are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're going to be hopefully going live into Instagram at some point as well.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
We made it to Instagram.
We made it.
We made it.
We made it.
Oh
I hit the connect to Facebook button.
It
did it.
It's so now we can go live to Instagram on things?
Yeah, we've been able to, but we never appropriated that to the studio. This studio. I had it taken care of in our old studio.
Because Instagram's weird about that stuff, right?
Instagram is super weird. Instagram, if you're listening.
Yeah, this going straight to Instagram. You look straight into that camera. You look straight into that camera. For all our podcast listeners, you look straight into that camera, and you let them know what's on your heart. Andy.
Let me get into my zone real quick.
Yeah.
Attention, Instagram.
Attention.
I'm gonna do this today, in spite of you.
How long is this gonna be?
How long do you want it to be?
Is this gonna take a little bit?
No.
Okay. Cool.
No, we're good.
Right. Okay.
Like I said, welcome to episode 15 of the weekday. It's a very important day here in the United States today. Today is commonly referred to as Taco Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
I got
had chips and queso today because it was that kind of day.
I had chips and queso. I had a blackened chicken salad from Tijuana Flats for lunch, and we are going to be having Tijuana Flats for dinner tonight as well.
You guys love that. You live into the Taco Tuesday.
We have to because Austin's working tonight, and so it's just me and Jenna, my wife, works till late, so it's just me and the other two. And she suggested on the way out today, "Hey, what do you think about just taking the kids to Tijuana Flats for dinner tonight?" And I said,
"Yeah." I'm never going to turn that down.
Yeah, thumbs up for success.
I feel like it's just it's a prime establishment, you know?
It
two
is.
thumbs way up.
Yeah. Kat, do you like Tijuana Flats?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Racina and Michael Racina went with us today.
Not a part of what we're talking about, though, even though this could be involved in what we're talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. It's not, though.
No, and you can see from the caption here, we've got a minimal amount of people watching live right now. It's a tough time to watch live on Facebook and on YouTube. Again, we have this as a podcast, so you'll be carrying it with you as well. Today, however, here, by the way, I'm going to hit the share button on this so
That's a
that
great
everybody can see and love
should
all
share
of
it.
these things. I'm going to share this
you
right
share
now.
it?
And if you are listening to this live now, you can also share this as well. And if you are not listening, you can share this link with your friends
You know
and
what,
your
though?
family.
One of my favorite things would be for you to share this. Whoever you are,
whatever you're doing,
whenever you are, share this. That's a
that
favorite
was,
thing.
That was a Michael Scott thing right there.
You like that?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
every time.
Sometimes, every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can see from the episode title here, it's the holiday season, which is really cool. I think it.
What are you wearing? I just now noticed that.
Yeah. This is.
It's not loud or anything.
You can't.
I actually heard it before I saw it. Yeah.
So if you're watching this live, you can see the hideousness that is this Christmas sweater. If you're listening to this, I'm wearing a very itchy cat Christmas sweater. It's super itchy.
I used to hate it because we used to live in Michigan, and did you know that? You and I used to live in Michigan.
When was that?
Yeah, a while ago. And I do remember having to wear like wool sweaters.
Oh gosh, it was the worst.
Hating them. Like I hate them so much because they're itchy. They're always itchy.
Well, and then mom would say, "Well, you got to wear an undershirt." And it's
you
like,
have
well,
to look nice.
Yeah, well, and then you got to wear an undershirt. But then what inevitably happens
We're going
is
to Grandma and Grandpa's.
if you can see,
nice.
I roll the sleeves up, but then the sleeves don't ever stay
Right.
there.
Oh yeah, they get stretched out.
They get stretched out, and so then you're constantly doing this and pushing it up. Anyway,
and turtlenecks. You used to have to wear. I remember a white turtleneck.
do we need to talk
I
about
had.
turtlenecks again?
No, it's not one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want? No, we're not going to go into turtlenecks again. The
we
reason
will
I'm wearing
not.
this is that we were just shooting a promotion for Operation Christmas Child.
Okay.
Which you fine folk of Bay Hope are going to be seeing this
OCC.
Sunday. Operation Christmas Child
Yeah,
is
you know
back,
me.
ladies and gentlemen. Pat says nice sweater, so Pat likes it. Thank you very much. What did Brad Miller say? Hold on, let me pop over. What is up with that hideous sweater? Get out of here, Brad. It's been really nice having you on the internet. No, I'm kidding. You can please stay and hang out with us. No, and then Dee Dee says Christmas sweaters. Yes, so you can see from the title of this video, we're talking about our favorite things because it is the holiday season. Oprah typically does her Oprah's favorite things, and I wish I had a video sample that
We'll put it in later.
A soundboard.
We'll put it in later. Yeah,
we'll do it in post.
Yeah.
But seriously, it's been a weird year of kind of, I don't want to say doom and gloom, but again, talking about today being a very important day. It is the election day, obviously.
If anything, it's been a year of like exhaustion. I feel like by the time we made it to election day, and it's a big deal, and everyone is saying that it's a big deal. But it just I remember 4 years ago when we had election in 2016, and it was huge because the whole rest of that year we didn't have to deal with like a worldwide pandemic, and so it felt like that was like a moment where it was huge. But it just feels like every day we wake up and it's like, man, there's huge stuff going on today.
Always. And so we wanted to hit the pause button on that a little bit and kind of pump the brakes as we ease into the holiday season because Christmas is like 6 weeks away, which is gnarly. 7 weeks away. Which is pretty gnarly. 7 more Fridays, and what's the elf meme that goes around? 7 more Fridays till Christmas? That thing.
Never seen it.
Great. It's a great movie with Will Ferrell, and he licks some banisters.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I can kind of context.
He takes some
no context. Yeah, I got it.
Okay,
got
yeah.
It.
Anyway, elf. Oh, I see where you're going with that. Cool. Anyway, welcome to the internet. We wanted to talk about our favorite things, kind of personally and church-wise. And you can see one of my favorite things that I'm wearing is... No, not the Christmas sweater.
So we're breaking it into 2 categories.
We're going to break it into 2 categories. We're doing personal favorite things and then sort of church-related favorite things. And I want to hear from you. Mike wants to hear from you in the chat. What are your favorite things as well? We've got a list of these, and we're going to be just kind of stepping through them over the next couple of weeks.
All right.
Sound good?
I love it.
Great. Okay.
I didn't know we were doing this.
You didn't know we were doing this.
Kidding.
Mike didn't read the description of this. So like I said, drop in the chat what your favorite. You got a sweater, and you get a sweater, and you get a sweater.
That's right.
And you absolutely. My first favorite thing is fall.
Fall.
I am one of those people. I love fall.
Okay.
I woke up this morning and it was 54 degrees outside.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the crispness. I feel like you're more awake. I love that. I don't love it being super cold, but I don't love it being super hot. Like the 50 to 60 degree weather. I kind of listened to something that you recorded yesterday on another podcast that you record.
Oh.
Yeah. With the guy from Verse, and I'm blanking on his name
Justin
right now.
Price.
Justin Price. I got a Zoom notification that you recorded something. I just popped in there to see what it was.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys were talking about if heaven's weather was 60 degrees all year round.
Now, if heaven had weather,
it would be 60
I
degrees.
don't know if that's theologically something that is true. But if heaven has weather,
I mean, it's got a climate.
It's between 65 and 75 and sunny out.
Right, and so
low humidity.
It's my favorite season. Yeah. Like Dee Dee says, trees are changing. They don't really change here in Florida. It's either green or off. And so, but when I was living in Georgia, it was the best. It was the absolute best. And that's honestly, and Jenna's working right now, but if she was live, she would chime in right now in the chat and say, that's one of the things that's made us the most homesick for Georgia is the kind of the months from September to really Christmas. Because everything after that's pretty terrible until spring.
It gets sloshy and wet.
Yeah,
and
it's always cold.
And,
it's always cold. So
dead.
Fall, that's my first favorite thing.
That's cool.
How about you?
So we've talked about this a little bit before, and people make fun of me here at church about one of my personal favorite things.
Oh, let's go.
But I really love space. Yeah, and I'm not talking just like this space between us or like social distance, I don't necessarily love that, but just
that's that Dave Matthews song. Between.
I feel like right now we are living in a moment where technology is finally coming up to where people had like these dreams of science fiction or all that kind of stuff. We're living in this really cool moment, and so I think beginning of the year, I just started down this really strange rabbit hole of just space, and I've always loved space. I mean, you've known me for a while, and in elementary school, space really had a moment in my life, and where I was like, I'm going to be an astronaut.
A long moment.
Yeah, and it didn't work out.
Why? Walk me through it, step by step.
Also, astronauts have to go through some pretty crazy stuff.
Yes,
I mean, and all of them are basically like...
Pat chiming in with SpaceX.
SpaceX, yes. So that's one of the things I want to talk about is... So I've become daily, and maybe it's just because I'm searching for encouragement in something and positive things,
something to believe in,
something. But I absolutely love specifically what SpaceX is doing right now. And if you don't know that much about space, SpaceX is literally revolutionizing what we are doing and how we're thinking about space travel. And it's a really cool sort of underdog story. I mean, they're not like super underdogs because it's like basically a multi-billion-dollar company.
Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, but and NASA is really great, but it's a government program, and this isn't a political statement at all. But most government programs are overfunded and underwhelming because it's just there's so many people involved, and there's taxpayer money involved, and a lot of different contractors, and you really start to learn about the history of NASA. It's insane that they even got anything done at all.
That's true.
And we went to the moon in the 60s and early 70s, but it took literally trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars to even do that, even back then. Mm-hmm. And now, adjusted for inflation, it would be insane. But SpaceX, what their mission is to make humanity a interplanetary species. So like their goal is to colonize Mars, basically. And whether or not you think it's going to happen, I mean, we are very far off from doing that.
Sure.
But their goal is not to build better rockets. Their goal is to not put people in space. Like their goal is so like crazy and audacious and everything that they have literally revolutionized what we think about rockets. I mean, everybody 10 years ago said a private company will never put a rocket in space. And they said, yes, we will do that. And they put, not only did they put a rocket in space, they put a rocket in orbit, which nobody thought would ever happen. A private company will never put humans on the space station or in space. We'll never put, not just satellites, they'll never put humans in space. And look at what happened this year with SpaceX.
Yeah, true.
A private company especially will never be able to reuse boosters. And what does SpaceX do? They create and perfect propulsive landing technology so that they can reuse boosters. Like, they'll never be able to reuse a booster, more than 2 or 3 times. They use boosters. I mean, it's just, they continually push boundaries. And it's really cool to see. And I'm following along with there's plenty of stuff that they're doing. But finally, the space industry is really like starting to follow behind them.
Yeah.
And now there's different companies and everything that, they're now for tens of millions, which I know is still a lot of money, but for tens of millions of dollars, they're able to send people in satellites to space, whereas it used to be hundreds of millions of dollars. and Russia was really like the closest thing we could do at like 90 million.
Yeah.
And SpaceX has basically cut that in half. So I know that's a little in the weeds, but I'm very, very encouraged. Oh, and another thing, the community of spacefaring people. There's a bunch of people on YouTube and on blogs and Twitter and all that kind of stuff, but everybody has this hashtag called Team Space.
Yep.
It's hashtag Team Space.
Yep.
And there's not like there is a contingent of people who think this company's better than this company, all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, people are just excited about the opportunities that and the doors that all of these companies that are racing with each other to try and create the best kind of technology, the best engines, the best boosters, all that kind of stuff. And it's just it's an exciting, like, I don't care who wins. I don't care who does this, because most companies will end up following. We're a team space, and I just think it's a really cool mentality to have. And maybe if in some way, shape, or form we could translate that to how we actually live our life, it would be super cool. But it's just a really cool pocket of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brad, again, and we don't need to get into it, but
Yeah.
we went to the moon using the lowest bidder for contracts. Remarkable we got there and back. Or did we?
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's funny. There's a lot of people who don't think that we went to the moon, which
Yeah.
is whatever. But we had no business going to the moon. If you really start to dive into it, we had absolutely no business.
Yeah.
It was the longest of long shots that, honestly, the only reason we got there was because of the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that we poured into it. I mean, like, realistically, it was sort of a waste of money.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to go back ever since. And the reason we haven't is because it costs so much money.
Yes.
Not because we never went. So
Yeah.
I know that's not what Brad's
No,
saying.
I know it
Because
is.
it would be easier for us to actually go than to create this huge conspiracy that we went to the moon.
Right.
Anyways, whatever.
Okay, let's transition.
Yeah.
We got a couple minutes left here, so let's talk about our favorite church
Yeah.
things. So mine is kind of on the heels of Christmas and fall and all that other stuff. One of my favorite church things is a midnight service. And this is kind of weird and kind of far afield. We never really had them in a lot of the churches that I was serving in, except for the couple of churches that we grew up in.
Yeah.
And I would love, and I still do, and I had it last year. I love that feeling driving home Christmas Eve / Christmas morning, night, whatever you want to call it, at midnight or 12:30.
Yeah.
And seeing all the paper bags that I'm drawing a blank on. Luminaries.
You're
seeing
welcome.
all those and seeing the Christmas lights and just kind of that feeling of when I get home,
Yeah.
I get the chance to like put things together for my kids and like wrap and do all those, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the feeling that you get in a worship service at 12 o'clock when somebody says Merry Christmas and you turn and you look at your watch or your clock and it's 12 o'clock and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, and I love that. And, we can talk about when Jesus was actually born and all that, but there's just such a rich tradition to it. And I love it. It's another reason why this is one of my favorite times of the year. It's almost like this like New Year's for me is such a letdown.
Yeah.
It really is, because
Right.
it feels like a Sunday that you have to go back to work. It really does. And then, the next day you usually watch football anyway,
Sure.
but the Christmas day, it's just so, and I'm going to use a word and I don't mean it, but I kind of mean it, pregnant with possibility of, oh my
what
gosh,
you
the
did.
next.
I see what you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pregnant.
Okay.
Let's talk about the virgin. No, there's so much life and vitality and love to that. So midnight services, love them.
No, that's great. I think going off of that, because I kind of had a bunch of stuff tossed up in the air with what, I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on. We don't have enough time to say all the favorite like church things that, I love. And, I think for us as Bay Hope, we're not necessarily like a traditional church.
Fun.
I think, our mission here is to connect people to a life-changing relationship with Jesus. And, there's that story in Acts of, the Council of Jerusalem, I think, Council at Jerusalem, where they're talking about, Peter comes back and Paul
yes.
and with James, and they're talking about, all these upheld Jewish traditions. How do we connect people to the church?
Yes.
And, they come to the conclusion that, like, we basically shouldn't make it hard. Whatever it is, there's these one or two things that, like, we're going to encourage people not to do. But, like, for the most part, we should do whatever it takes to not make it as hard for people to connect. And that's a tangent. but basically for me talking about how we're not like such a traditional church. But one of the speaking of traditions, though, one of the things that I absolutely love about this church is the way Pastor Matthew does Christmas Eve 11 o'clock service.
Wow.
Is the way that we do funerals and weddings. I just if you're watching, if you're listening, if you haven't ever been able to be a part of the traditional things that we do here, it's just a really cool thing. And especially Pastor Matthew, he does such a good job. And it sounds like such a weird thing. And, for us, like, we're so in the weeds with, church strategies and all that kind of stuff. It's just really nice sometimes to actually, like, sit back and just be like, yeah, like, these traditional things, like, aren't always that bad.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, to have like a system in place, or to have like a pastor in place who takes them or who knows how to do them really well. It's just a really cool thing. Pastor Matthew did Melissa, our sister's wedding. I was like, gosh, this is really great.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
I've been to several, and we just came from a meeting for the Night of Hope, which is, the opposite side of really a wedding, but, is like this church-wide event that we do every year. Right before Christmas, where, however you are grieving, basically, if you're grieving a lost one, whether they've died this year, whether they've died, this past month, or like 10 years ago, it's a moment for us as a church to remember and grieve our lost loved ones. And, Matthew, every single year, Pastor Matthew, every single year just really hits it out of the park. Yeah. And it's just, it's nice. That's one of my favorite things about this church. So.
By the way, we literally didn't know that we were going to talk about that. So that's kind of cool that one synced up a little bit.
Yeah,
It was really good. Hey, like I said, in the comments of Facebook and the comments of YouTube, let us know. And if you're watching this afterwards, or if you're listening to this afterwards, let us know what your favorite things are. We're going to be doing this for a couple weeks because, honestly, this season we need some joy and we need a little bit of good.
And for real, like, please tell us, what are your favorite things?
Yeah.
It could be something as simple as, like,
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Because I do like a good bowl of macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one.
I like taking a big handful of popcorn and shoving it in my mouth, and then trying to fit it all in there, and then watching the dog grab some. I really do like that.
I love Skittles.
Yeah, you do.
I just there's some things in life that I have self-control with, and like Skittles is not one of them. You gave me 8 little packets of Skittles, and like they were gone yesterday in like an hour, and I have no control. I will eat Skittles until my mouth hurts.
He was carb loading.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love Skittles.
Yeah.
No, and I'm purist. I love the original Skittles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Here, last one, and Rosina, this is for you. Do you like cats or do you like dogs?
Do people like cats?
I think they tolerate them.
Is that a thing?
I think they tolerate them.
I didn't know people actually like cats.
I had cats, and I like them, but I like dogs way more.
It's because you didn't have a dog that you thought you liked cats.
I had a cat that I thought was a dog, and then turns out he was not a dog at all.
Yeah.
He was a real...
Did you see what Zach... that's...
Smoked meat.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I do love a good smoked meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I had country style ribs, and like
dude, when did you have them? I made them Saturday.
Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I made them Saturday.
It's amazing.
We've
this
still
is
got
a great
some
conversation.
leftovers.
I like where this is headed.
Yeah. Oh man, I let it sit there and all that fat just kind of came
it's
right
so great.
off.
It's so great.
Cool. This would be when the music would start rolling and we would be exiting out of here. Hey, we love you guys. Thanks for joining with us live. And if you're not with us live, hey, thanks for watching along, listening along. We love you so much, and we cannot wait to be back with you next week.
See you then. Bye.